What up, y'all? I'm back. Looking a little bit clearer, I guess. A little more smooth, huh? Got my other camera to work today. So here go the thing. Skull, better known as Melvin Farmer, is on a Zoom call and he's doing an interview to help the youth. He's been in Texas for like 7 days or something like that working. And so he's going to be a little late tonight, but he said he'll be here. With Skull, Melvin Farmer, you never know. But he said he'll be here. He gave me his word, and he wanted me to let you guys know that he's trying to help the youth out, and so that's what he's doing. The youth are more important than KM video live streams. Probably getting some money for it, who knows? But that's what he's doing, and so he'll come when he come. You feel me? So whenever he show up, it's when he show up. Nevertheless, we had a great live earlier. We already got 100 people up in here. That quick, 120 people. We just been on for 1 minute. So obviously a lot of people want to hear from Skull and talk about that interview he had while he was in Texas with Charleston White. So we'll wait on him. We'll wait on him. But in the meantime, what y'all want to talk about, man? Well, that was a good live earlier. I disagree with Cutes. We usually don't disagree, but I disagree because I'm looking at the numbers that CDC statistics offer. And I do realize one institution can vary from the next institution. I mean, that goes without saying. It's not going to be the same numbers or same percentage in every prison and every yard. But my personal experience, I lean toward the statistics being correctly. My personal experience, blacks have always been outnumbered. Um, I'm sorry, not always, but I'm saying since like the 90s rolled around, 91, 92. Prior to that, I thought it was about even. I don't know the numbers back then, but I thought it was about even. Um, we even used to bunk with Mexicans when I first went to the county jail, and you could get a fair squabble. So I believe the numbers may have been even at that time, but they changed drastically when the 90s came around. What's up, Stan, my bro? What's up with you, homie? Well, it's up there. It's not monetized, but it's still up there, Stan. You could go check it out, man. Ain't nothing wrong with watching a video late, you know what I mean, or the next morning. Have you ever heard of West Hollywood Opportunity Center Care? No, I haven't. Marlon Guest, good looking out, bro. Appreciate you. So I want to send Melvin a text, but I don't want to interrupt whatever interview he got going on right now. But Cutes is definitely a warrior. See, this is what I wanted to say, but when you got Rockhead and Cutes in the building and Mr. Gould, I can't be more than 25% of the conversation. But right now, I'm 100% of the conversation. And I would like to say, Cutes is different from most. Cutes is different from most anybody that I'll probably ever interview. Because Cutes is in an elite class of convicts. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't just a convict. He wasn't a prisoner just doing time, walking his time off from the yard. Cutes was a convict that participated in a lot of violence. He has a mindset that's so much stronger than most and the heart of a lion. So Cutes, while he may put himself in certain situations when I ask a question or when he's giving an answer, Cutes is different from most. And then you got a Rockhead, similar, different. Like Rockhead likes to call himself a beast, a machine. You got a lot of dudes that was like that, but the majority was not like that. So, you know, I don't know what yards look like the Cutes walked. I don't know what yards look like that Rockhead walked. And I haven't been on but 2 prison yards, so I can't tell you what their yards look like and what they went through. I mean, they went through some violent shit. Like it was on and cracking in the 80s and 79 and 80s. You feel me? So I didn't witness that. But I obviously witnessed riots and fights and laying the yard down and that type of stuff, though. What years was Black bunking with Mexican? Well, I went in 1986, so I could tell you for sure 1986 is my first visit. I can't remember exactly when I first went to Wayside, but the first time I went to Wayside, my bunkie was Night Owl from Premier Flats, from Eastside Premier Flats. So whenever I went to Wayside the first time, we were still bunking with Mexicans, for sure. But I know for sure come them 90s, man, we was going in our own cells. You know what I'm saying? We had our own phones, our own toilet stalls and stuff like that. No, Cutes and Rockhead are way different generations. Cutes was born in the 50s. Rockhead was born in the 60s. I couldn't tell you about the female prison. I mean, hey, you a female, right? You should know more about that system than I should, right? You should have some homegirls, some cousins, sisters, somebody been through that system, right? I mean, I'm just saying. I don't know. Cuse, yeah, there you go. Okay. No, Cuse wasn't born in 58, though. That's wrong. Cuse was born in 57. Grand scheme, good looking out. I appreciate it. Monster Cody's birthday and S Mac have the same birth date. That's what's up, Western Ave. That's what's up. Have you ever heard of Cappuccino? You talking about which one? I've heard of 3 of them. There's one from Watts, there's one from Sixties, and there's one from Schoolyard that I know of. And I keep telling you guys. I mean, I'm sure the regulars know. I'm sure the people that been in the trenches know. But for those that ask me questions, have I heard of somebody? You always have to remember a lot of the names and gangs, whether you're Hispanic or white or black or Asian, are repetitive names. These names, yeah, you're talking about, yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about. He's been mentioned by his real name on a lot of interviews. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Now, OG Goat says you asking about bounty hunters. So I don't know how OG Goat knows who you was asking about, but whatever. But yeah, there's several. So we have the same names a lot of times, but from different sets or different parts of the city. I'm not putting no money on that boxing match, man. So you got that part wrong, Suge. I'm not putting no money on the boxing match. What's up, Michelle? How are you tonight? No, I never did an interview with Putin, and Putin is no longer here to be interviewed. Oh no, baby, Short Dog, what's up, man? I was locked up with Short Dog, man. That ain't the same Short Dog, right? Short Dog was older than me. Absolutely, New England Patriots got defense, man. That's why I said earlier, New England's defense was fitting to do their thing against Atlanta. They got the defense is underrated. Everybody keep talking about Mac Jones, Mac Jones, Mac Jones. and Belichick. But they're not talking about their defense, man. Their defense is nice, bro, and our running backs are nice. And remember, before the season, I told you picking up those tight ends and wide receivers, great move. That was an upgrade. Remember, I said that? The Patriots upgraded. I like that. Now it's starting to show. It's really starting to show as they get more comfortable with each other. I'm not putting my cash app up no more, man. Every time you tell me, no disrespect to you, this is not a knock on you, bro, but every time you tell me to put my cash app up, don't nobody cash app. I'm not wasting my time typing that shit no more. It's in the description of the video. If that ain't enough, then I don't deserve it. But I'm tired of typing that shit and then don't hear nothing go off. So cash app, super chats is good enough, man. I'm not wasting my time. Yeah, the Pats are good, man. The Pats are good. They are good. Like I said, they should have one loss, but unfortunately they have three losses. I mean four losses, but three more losses. Five straight victories, man. That's not an easy task in the NFL. Cadillac and Pookie Loke from 9-0 is a classic. Pookie Twin's brother, his twin is home now. Yeah, the Falcons are horrible, man. Kind of bad. Okay, somebody cash at me. Good looking out. I'm not gonna say your name, but good looking out. And also Antonio V. Good looking out, Antonio. And the other one, you know who you are. But good looking out. Yeah, I assume that's Big Short Dog. The dark one was a little cut up, short dude from 120 Raymond. Good dude right there. I like dude. He was a good dude. Good looking out, Ant Thomas. I mean, it's better to have visuals. I think to me, visuals are important because it lets people understand the story and see the story. You can see the scenery, the dress style, but more importantly, it lets you guys know that these stories are real. These ain't made up stories. These ain't no extra out stories. There's no fibbing like some of these guys that tell you they was banging a certain year. Carolina Blue, good looking out. But then you do the math and they were 7 years old. Show me some pictures when you was cripping at 7. Show me some pictures when you was cripping at 9. I want to see what your homeboys look like when you was 9 years old with a blue rag in your left pocket. That's what I want to see. And when you know and you ran with and you met some of these originals that died early on, do you got a picture or can you tell me about the guy's character? Can you tell me where you met these guys? Like, I want to hear that type of shit. Because anybody, I could tell you, I met everybody too, but I can't. If I can't tell you about the character or where I met them, then you got to wonder, like, are they making this shit up or not? You feel me? But that's what I say, man. I always said from day one, I always said I wasn't the hardest dude. I wasn't even one of the hardest dudes from 60s because we produced so many reputables, so many riders that I would never put myself up there in the elite category. But at the same time, I got people that can agree or disagree, dispute or confirm my stories. I got people that can give you their own version of knowing me and incidents with me. You know what I'm saying? So I let my reputation and my dark past speak for itself, man. I don't have to brag on what I was doing or none of that. The stories will come out. You know what I'm saying? The stories will come out. Good looking out, Miss 702. Shout out to the KMV ladies, Crystal, Lisa. Good looking out, Lewis Akins Jr., Perlana, Miss Misha, Lady P, Leela, Shaniqua, Megalicious, Michelle, Monique, and we cannot forget my sister, Callie Kiss. We're not gonna forget Callie Kiss, you know. She tunes in like everybody else and she comments like everybody else. And she's my older sister, so she should get some points for that. If nobody else respect her, I do. I love my sister. Yeah, the Raiders fell off, man. The Raiders was looking good. I ain't even gonna lie. I fell for it. I fell for the annual trick, the trick that we see every year. I thought the Raiders were somewhat the truth. Not quite the truth, but somewhat the truth. Yeah, they look weak. They look like bums, man. Kind of tough being a Raider fan right now. You feel me? I absolutely do not miss my dice games, man. Listen, I know it didn't come across well in my book Sprung, and it probably don't come across well in some of my videos about gambling. But I'm telling you, man, them 90s were so hard on me. Them dice, even like the late 80s, them dice was so hard on me, man. I don't miss nothing about rolling them dice. I don't miss nothing about that life whatsoever, man. I went to bed with a lot of heartaches and pain, a lot of empty pockets, a lot of stress. I had to wake up and commit crimes to make that money back up. I went to work for a period of time, lost all that money. That was hard on me. So working wasn't enough. I had to work and hustle the streets to get that money back to go gamble. So no, I don't miss a goddamn thing about shooting dice in them backyards, man. About the only thing I miss is the conversations we had back then. I only seen crooked dice one time in my life at a crap game. That was in my backyard when the grape streets came through. And I'm gonna leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? I sided with the grapes. All the smart homies sided with the grapes. All the dumb homies, the hard head homies, they went against them and lost their money. And that's that. Yeah, dice are a hell of a drug, and that's why the name of the book was called Sprung, because it's an addiction, and it wasn't nice. And not too many addictions are nice, man. It was tough on me. Well, OG Goat, when you listen to Two Pretty Kenny's stories, you got to be a goddamn fool to sit there and shoot dice with somebody with crooked dice. You might as well just give him all your money, man. And if he don't want you betting with him, man, take the dice and throw him. Tell him, F you, bully. You ain't shooting no dice around here if I can't bet with you, fool. Who the hell gonna sit there and let a man with crooked dice take all your money, man? I don't know what Too Pretty Kenny them was thinking about. Well, they all should have rushed him. They all should have jumped on him at one. Like, you couldn't do that where I was from. There was too many pistols. Like, how you gonna come in the backyard with 20 or 30 homeboys, reputable names, hard dudes, squabblers, shooters, like I say in my videos, killers and dope dealers. Ain't no way you gonna get away with that, man. Everybody got a gun. Some people had extended clips, some people had bigger guns than others. And depending on what we was shooting at, there was gonna be some AR-15s and AK-47. Wasn't nobody that stupid to come back there with no crooked dice. Now you might try to pick up somebody's fade. You might get into a low-key argument over $100 or $200, but you was not finna be back there shooting no crooked dice with all them killers, my nigga. That just wasn't gonna happen. Period. Not where I'm from, it wasn't. So those are just facts. To each his own, wherever you shot dice at or who you shot dice with, whatever happened over there, that's cool. That's your story and that's how it went. But I'll speak for where I shot dice at and who I shot around. Well, again, like I said, man. Of course, crooked dice are normal for a hustler. There's pool sharks. There's people that shoot them crooked dice. Guess what? Ask Mike Concepcion how it worked out. You see what I'm saying? It wasn't gonna work where I was from, bro. Just period. Like, you're not gonna find one person that's gonna say you could have got away with some crooked dice in our backyard. In fact, you couldn't even shoot crooked dice in the backyard with us if you wanted to, because we wasn't gonna let you. We had multiple dice and we picked people's dice up and threw them. You take one dice and throw it. Now you got a green and a red, a blue and a white. You know what I'm saying? You didn't even have the same dice. You feel me? So maybe y'all wasn't just as advanced as we was, or maybe we some late bloomers that came around later. But we had methods to make sure the dice wasn't crooked, and you wasn't going to shoot the same dice over and over if you was hitting me. I'm going to take them dice and throw them, and you got to hit again with some new dice. And if you think I'm lying, find a rolling 60 that shot dice in the 60s, in the 90s, or late 80s. See, one thing about me, everybody in this world can have their own vision or their own story or their own recollection. I'm going to still have mine. Like, you're not going to change mine from what I experienced. You can't change my experience. Now, I may get some things wrong. I may make a mistake or I may not remember correctly, but I know what I'm talking about when we were shooting them dice and where we were shooting them at and how we were shooting them and all that. So I'm going to give you the real. So don't contest what I tell you where I was unless you got a fact that you can correct me on. But because you did something in the 20s or in the hundreds or the 90s, you did that over there. You didn't do that in the 60s. That's all that means. That means they did that where you was from. They didn't do that where I was from. Melly Mel, what up, homeboy? Why don't you come on, Melly Mel? Come on and kill some time and wait on Skull if Skull shows up. You feel me? You know how Skull and Kelmac is, man. We ain't always on the same page, man. So I thought tonight would have been great, but he gave me his word that he'd be here. So we're gonna see, bro. Well, why don't you come on, Melly Mel? Let me see what type of hat you got on tonight. Let me see your think tank, bro. Well, everybody got hot at some point, except probably Slip Rock. Big Slip Rock probably the only one never got hot, but I always give it up to Big Bam, man. I give Big Bam a lot of credit because Big Bam passed on me like 14 licks one time, man. I was so hot. We were shooting 100, but this how you know Big Bam wasn't cheating. There's two ways I know Big Bam wasn't cheating. Because Big Bam wouldn't shoot 200. Big Bam would only shoot 100. And then the other way I know is because after he hit me about 7 times, I took the dice and threw him out the garage. And he had to come with a new pair. What up, Melly Mel?
What's up, Kev Mac? Can you hear me?
Oh, Marlena Williams is showing out. Good looking out, sweetheart. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I hear you. What's up with you, bro?
Man, I'm just chillaxing, man. I tapped in for a moment. I saw that you had Skull coming on. I thought that would be an interesting topic to discuss what actually happened between him and Charleston White down there with Ayatollah Marv. You know what I mean? They looked pretty serious about what they were doing and the direction they was going in. What I liked about the two is that they allowed Charleston White to say everything he needed to say. And when he was done, then Skull opened up. And the only thing that what I noticed immediately was Charleston White beginning to act like a disgruntled woman because he began to cut him off, not let him finish his thoughts. He didn't want him to finish what he was saying. And that's been like the history of Charleston White when people are saying things that he disagree or he dislike or he just outright can't take what's being said.
Right. You know, the way he was spitting his spiel, I was
Uh-huh.
like, all right, Charleston on his shit. He talking shit, but he on his shit. But when I seen he wouldn't let Skull speak, I knew he had an inferior complex.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he wouldn't let Skull speak, man. And Skull was nice and calm, well mannered, like an OG supposed to be.
Yeah, he was real poised and composed, and I respected that. I liked that. You know, when I saw that, how you know what I mean. That means that he has growth. You know what I mean. From the last time when I saw him on, I think it was Glad. I believe I didn't particularly like the way that came across for him, but he's shown growth this time.
So I got a question for you, Mel.
Okay.
Do you advise people to continue to go on platforms with Charleston White, or do you think at some point we need to understand that we're gonna get tested or made a fool of if we continue to go and participate in his annex?
I think that we got to evaluate from the perspective of, does it add value? What does it add to the culture? Because once again, I can't say this enough, man. We don't have enough culture competence and culture responsibility. We have to have accountability in our culture. The moment we don't have accountability, man, we lose it on all fronts, man. You know what I mean? It just, and I understand that a lot of it's come from the generational poverty within our communities, and the generational poverty has caused zero self-worth in our community. So a lot of people, man, they don't, when they see another, when some black men, a percentage of black men, when they see another black man, they don't see nothing. And that's just the way that is, you know, and it's unfortunate, but that's what it is, you know. And I'm not saying that's what Charleston White does. I think Charleston White he said it himself. I'm a shock jock, and I believe that.
I don't know the meaning of a shock jock, but I heard him
Shock,
say it, and I heard Melvin say it.
a shock jock is someone who says things to get everybody to go, oh, you know what I mean? What it's a oh my God moment, oh Jesus, one of them type of moments right there, you know, because
Well,
of what's being said. Or yeah, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, well, he is exactly that. That's for sure.
Yeah,
But that don't excuse him for the shit he say.
no, because here's the thing: when he's speaking, he lacks the phraseology, he lacks the tonality, and he uses words that to cut instead of he can use other words to explain and express himself, but he chooses words that he knows that's going to cut. And there's no reason in that because we already been cut, beaten, strung up, hung, castrated, whooped as a people. You know what I mean? So we don't need another person that's demonstrating the act of 1710, where they had the act of meritorious maledictions, where a black person can destroy another black person, and white people would show him favor based on him destroying a black person that was gaining success or upward mobility.
Right. Hey man, for my audience, for those that tuned in, Melvin Farmer just texted me. He said at the turn of the hour he'll be ready. So we'll have
Okay.
like 33 more minutes before Skull arrives. But yeah, I liked Howard Stern though. Howard Stern was old freaky jock, always having
Yeah,
porn stars on there and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
That was different. That was more entertaining and funny
He's
than
the
serious
one
and
that started.
disrespectful.
Yeah, he was the one that started that shock jock stuff. All that
Yeah.
stuff evolved from him, and then Donald Trump took it in 2016. Donald Trump took it to a whole nother level. So that's part of what he does too, is shock jock type of characterizations and how he comes across. You know what I mean? He does it like the time when Donald Trump said he could kill somebody on Fifth Avenue and still get elected. So shockingly enough, he did just that.
Man, one thing about Donald Trump is he came in the office, before he got in the office, voted in, he was telling people how America was, man. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely.
the funny thing is, before he was elected, he wasn't saying no different than what black people in the streets of South Los Angeles been saying my whole life.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
Yeah. He just changed up a little bit when
I,
he got in
I
office.
yeah, I think he was necessary. Me myself, person, I think he was necessary. I think it was a time for somebody to come in because he really pulled the sheep, or all the words, the curtain back. Exposed the Wizard of Oz for what it is. These
Yeah.
liberals and conservative media are one and the same. They both right wing, left wing, but both belong to the same bird. They're both
Mm.
here to put us down. You know what I mean? To keep us in check. And we can see that right now. and I don't want to get off topic, you know what I mean, but with initiating this conversation, but just to, follow up on it, you can see that in what Biden is doing now, you know what I mean, forcing people to
Right.
take the
Biden
jab.
ain't doing Biden ain't doing shit but funding infrastructure.
Yeah, and forcing people to take the jab.
Yeah, and they getting ready to reverse that, man. The way things are going.
Yeah, it's unconstitutional.
Yeah, it's unconstitutional. You know what they always say, man. How you get a white man, you hit him in their pocket.
Every time
But
he'll
yeah,
yell.
yeah. So they start fighting. They start fighting the White House back with them lawsuits, man. And you see Biden get a little quiet and want to just stick to infrastructure. But
And what's
anyway,
even
yeah,
more,
man. It don't matter what the topic is, man. We can flow until you
okay,
leave. Like I said, I'm waiting on Skull in 30 minutes. And
yeah,
but so let me ask you a few questions until you leave.
okay, cool.
How do you like interviewing people, man? How you like having this channel, and what are the cons about having a YouTube channel?
I think that I enjoy it because I enjoy relating to people and try to understand what is under the underbelly of our culture and what is the driving force for the things that occur in everyday activity. I appreciate the talks I have with individuals on air and off the air. You know what I mean? You like myself, we both have a lot of conversations behind the scenes where we get a lot of history, a lot of information, things that often put us in like, whoa, like for real, and just the enjoyment of that and learning these things, and because what's behind what's behind the appearance is the reality, often, but do we always get the reality? You know what I'm saying? So a lot of things what people think about the culture is not really what it was intended to be.
Have you got any blowback from any of your videos or from the information that was stated on any of your videos?
If it was minimum, but I really don't really react to it because until that individual can just because we go by data, stats, and statistics and observable reality. I use those things to incorporate what I believe or disbelieve. So I try to stick to that. You know what I mean? Because that's that's what a journalist do. You know what I mean? I want to apply journalistic techniques and be biased and not even be, you know what I mean? Because sometimes people be saying things and they be wanting me, other people be wanting me to disagree with them on camera. I will not disagree with nobody on camera
That's
because
interesting. Matthew Moore, good looking out. Appreciate it.
at the end of the day, it's your story. Tell it how you want to.
Shout out to Marlena Williams. Sometime I don't get around to saying everybody's name and thanking everybody individually, but whenever I say thanks for the cash apps, that go for everybody. And
Shout, shout out to Marlena Williams. See that
yeah,
T-shirt with that T-shirt say Cam? Can you see that?
the hood postman.
And but it says down
Street.
there,
I see street, but that's all I see is the street.
okay, I'll tell you what it says. It says from A to Z, street therapist.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, we got to do a lot of therapy with some of these guys that call us complaining and crying.
And that's the things that people don't know that we go through. It's like we are therapists at times because you know we'll get somebody to do a video, right? And I think and a prime example is Gregory from US. How many times did we get back calls from Gregory based on the video that he done?
Right. That's a lesson that we all have to, us content creators have to remember. And the people that call us and approach us, I've been saying it for years now, man. You cast a stone, man, it's gonna be several thrown right back at you.
Yes.
So a lot of these guys, and then I'm gonna let you speak. A lot of these guys that have got at me and said this person said this wrong and that person lied, and then they come
Uh
on, and now everybody talking about them.
huh. Uh huh. Which is interesting in itself because again, it just what's behind the appearance is the reality. You know what I mean? Your experience and perception of the reality is your experience. You know what I mean? No two people probably have the same. We could see an accident. I could be looking at it from one angle, and you see it from another angle, and we'll both interpret it in two different ways, but it'll still be the same thing. We just said it different, and we'll disagree based on that.
Yeah, real talk. And it be the smallest of thing, like you said, your feedback been the negative feedback been very minimal. The complaints are so minimal, but they make it into a big thing because they gotta call me and talk to me for 2 and 3 hours about somebody else. And my thing, and you know this, and S-Mac know this, and Rockhead know this, when somebody call me about somebody else, particularly Rockhead or Big U, I say call Big U. You got his number or you need his number? You need
Right,
Rockhead's number? You know what I'm saying?
right,
You see Rockhead and
right.
Big U all the time. Why y'all calling me though?
Right, 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 right.
Jimmy, good looking out, bro. Can we, as a people, push and vote the black agenda? Don't support a candidate unless they support the agenda.
What
Well,
is
I could say
what is?
this.
Oh,
I
go
could
ahead.
say two things to that. One, what is a black agenda? And
That's
number
what I was
two,
getting to say.
you got to remember somebody can run on certain principles, but once they get in office, they either run away from them principles because they tricked you to begin with. That's why they call it politics. Or the people around them don't think it's such a great idea or won't pass that agenda. And so it's not always that easy. But go ahead, Mel.
That's that's one of our primary problems. We get caught up in language. We get caught up in definition. Part of our problem is that we keep referring to ourselves, and I do it as myself. I'm guilty of it, calling ourselves black, and all those are constructs, man. You know what I mean? We never knew that we were black until somebody white told us that, or we didn't even know niggas was created in the United States. So when we keep engaging in that type of rhetoric, it further sets us back from where we need to be going. So, and I understand that as far as the politics goes, we need to have our own party, and we need to follow our own definition. So, what I'm saying is that we need to come together as a group, and culturally we need to come together, get on point culturally and as a group, because we get generalized as a group. If it's good or bad, they lump us up together. So therefore, we must operate as a group.
Right. Yeah, Mel, you have some deep thoughts and some nice sayings, man. It catches a lot of people's attention. And it defies the stereotype of us being ignorant and uneducated.
Oh yeah, they try to like I say, man, I can walk in a room with a, a full of white men, you know what I mean, and then once I begin to speak, and articulate my point of view, I mean, that's pressure on them. I mean, they realize I'm 62, you know what I mean? That's pressure right there, you know what I mean? But it's we just got to recognize who we are, man. We take away from ourselves based on European culture is what's keeping us back, you know what I mean? Because we've been so indoctrinated, man, and for the life of us, we can't understand that we need to get away from that. Everything we know about the education. Okay, again, okay, I said this the other night. I'm gonna say it again. Do the Europeans allow Africa to educate their children? No, they don't. Do the Chinese allow the Europeans to educate their children? But
Mm.
so-called Black Americans, we allow everybody to educate our children. That's
Absolutely.
that's where our problem lies.
Well, you know, the black parent, more or less, be like, just get the hell out of my house and go to school.
Yeah, and that once
Whereas,
again, that's back to generational poverty because poverty breeds all sorts of type of envy and anger and hatred and all sorts of kind of other things that's not nice.
and that's what we're being taught and not knowing it. We're being taught self-hatred
Yeah,
and and to be poor, not just mentally, but financially as well, you know?
but we have seen glimpse. Okay, look how powerful we are when we become collective. When we collectively move together. For instance, in the '92 uprising, we collectively came together. I'm talking about it was man. We had them people on shook. You understand? We have shown times where we collectively come together where we put the whole world on notice. But then it didn't last because
Mm.
the information and the things we're utilizing to provide the field to feed the hunger was not proper. You know what I mean?
Well, let me say this, because I'm usually careful with words.
Okay.
If I did say all black people, I apologize. But I thought or I meant to say some black parents or
Yeah, percent.
stereotypically. Generally, I thought I said the word generally. I didn't think I said all black. So excuse me to those that disagreeing with me and saying not all. I didn't mean all. Obviously, not every. You feel me?
Right.
But like I say,
I, we all misspeak in some point in time, but it's just what is our intent? You know what I mean? Your intentions are pure. Your intentions
yeah,
are correct. You know what I mean? You didn't mean to harm
no,
anybody. Yeah.
absolutely not. And this is what I try to teach people too. You have to get the context of the whole conversation because prior to that, what did I say? I said that Melly Mel is smart and breaks the stereotype of us all being ignorant and uneducated. So when I say whether I misspoke or I said it correctly about parents wanting to get their kids out the house and go to school, you obviously know I'm not saying that our kids are all going to be ignorant and uneducated.
That's
So,
true, Kev.
and yeah, it helps to educate yourself, but you still need somebody that has a great understanding or a better understanding than yourself to help educate
Right. True.
you. That's the one thing I liked about going to the Crip module and going to prison is most the righteous people gonna hand you a book, and then they gonna ask you about the book, and then they gonna hand
Yeah.
you another book, and keep the
Yeah.
dialogue going. A lot of people, well, not a lot, but some people want to see a young brother coming into the system elevate his thinking and become more on a not radicalized, but more on a racial tip to be for your people, be about your people, man, and get rid of the different separatism that we have as far as red and blue and orange and all that old stuff, man. The different age brackets. Some dudes did try to get us on one accord, even gang members. I've
Uh huh.
had gang members hand me George Jackson's books like they not knowing I done already read George Jackson book. George Jackson was on my bookshelf in my mama house. So I was hip
Uh
to all that already. But
huh.
it was a great setting to reread those books and better understand what you was reading. So that's what I liked about my path in the system.
One thing about George Jackson, man, when I picked up the George Jackson book, I had to pick up a dictionary too, because
Which is
man,
great.
yeah, exactly, and that was my point.
Yeah. That goes back to uplifting you, getting you to think and understand better.
Uh huh.
And that's enjoy. See, what I got out of Solidarity Brothers was this. George Jackson was really trying to teach black people not to break up under oppression and the system.
Right.
He talked about how they were always trying to break us, and that's why they would put you in a hole and not give you reading material and stuff like that. Give you less food. You know, George was a beast because he lived it and he understood it. So he was really trying to teach those that came after him and those that was, I guess, his peers that was in there going through what he was going through.
Yeah,
But
he set the precedence. He
yeah,
conditioned himself
he
for all
did.
that, right?
Yes, he did.
All the way down to the fine point of one meal a day.
Absolutely. And I'm gonna tell y'all, I don't want to speak on this dude because he don't like to be spoke on. But I'm gonna tell you another guy that mirrors George Jackson a whole lot is Lil Fee.
Uh huh.
I remember Lil Fee would not get a TV because Lil Fee said, "I don't want nothing that they can take from me, and then I'll be missing
Exactly.
it. I'll be used
Exactly.
to it." You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Don't give me your goodies. Don't offer me no special foods if I can't have it all the time. Don't give me no TV if you can come in here and take it. You know what I'm saying? Lil Fee's a strong-minded individual, bro.
That reminds me when I was in the feds, Kev. Every Thursday they would bring new books or something to the law library. I would be over there where people was making a line trying to get to the iron pile in the chow hall. I was making a line to the law library, you know, because my thinking was I could get a gym membership when I get out of jail, and I was emphatically trying to lessen the time that I had by going to the law library and try to understand what had happened and how they had applied the rule of law against me, and was there any mistakes? Because as we know, men make mistakes often, especially when they don't care. You see, because they don't care about us, so they they do things real sloppy when it comes to the law and just leverage against you. But when you go back and start defining and breaking it down and line for line, you'll find many mistakes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And then you
Mr.
get
Gould
them on.
want to know, Mr. Gould want to know the most interesting or knowledgeable book you ever read.
That's kind of hard to say because there are many, man. But right now, I would tell people to go read the Broader Files. That is a very, very interesting book. It's 22 essays, and it's, but breaking the psychological chains of slavery was one. Are You Still a Slave? By Shahrazar Ali. The brother Claude Anderson has great books. There's a numerous Henry Clark. It just man, Dr. Ben. I could just go on and on, man. You can't just narrow it down to one book.
Right. Yeah, a lot of people like to bring up 48 powers, but once you've been through the system and you've been around enough jive ass niggas, you understand when they are acting out 48
Yeah,
laws of power.
I go to sleep with the 48 Laws of Power playing
Hmm.
if I have it on audio.
That's what's up, man. Where'd you get the audio from? The
From
audio
audio.
book?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I put it on because it's such a long book, and I sleep through the night, and even when I'm sleeping, my mind is feeding. You know what I mean? That's I don't know, man. I think that's a thing I got, man. My mind is still working even when I'm sleeping.
Eldridge Cleaver's Soul on Ice was a good book.
Yeah, Elvis Cleaver revealed a lot of things about his personality in that book. There's a book called A Man Not that gives a even deeper look into the mindset of Eldridge Cleaver. It's called A Man Not. I have that on audiobook this too. And the Black
Hmm.
Man's Handbook, that's another good book, man. This is so many good books, man.
Right. Go say Chariots of the Gods is one of the best books he ever read.
Chariots of the Gods,
You know,
that's
I had a
interesting.
letter with a book
See,
listing from Lil Fee.
I'm never without, you know what I mean? I always keep something with me, man.
Hmm.
This is what I'm on right now. Just taking this down, right? I don't know if they can see it, but that's it right there.
Hmm. Metaphors we live by. The man with mercurial mind and finger waves, Melly Mel.
Mercurial mindset. I believe that's how the Crips was birthed, out of mercurialism. Something that was unpredictable and happened all of a sudden, that has a mood or mind swing or change. That's what mercurial is.
And well, I know a lot of people well, I mean, we're still around 600, but a lot of people left the room probably because Skull's not here, but we still over 600. That's a big number for KM Video live stream. So,
That's an awesome number, man. Shout out
man,
to the man. I know the Mailroom Nation out there. KM Videos with content is king, man. We in this. We in this, man. We do this for
yeah.
real, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I forgot about ISIS papers.
Oh, the ISIS Papers, man, friends. That was another deep, great book, man. That really
Mhm.
outlined racism and everyday activities. She talked about it, and man, she made analysis on based on, man, football, the golf ball, the football posts. I mean, how the white posts and the brown ball go through the poles, and she made references to that being the white woman's leg, cocking her legs open. Oh man, she did that, man. You know, because she was using that as an analogy to understand why the pro athletes go after white women. It was deep,
Oh, we
man.
got BG Knockout in the building. What's up, BG Knockout?
What's good, BG Knockout?
Oh, Naki, man. Naki, you know I'm ready for that interview whenever you're ready, man. Last year you was on the Muslim tip. You wasn't ready for me, man. But when you're ready, just holler at your boy, man. I'm not far away, man. We can do this. Any of y'all read Gerald Massey's work?
Yes, I
Uh,
read his work as well. I have an extensive library at home, man, with just about this numerous of books. I even have the 48 Laws of Pimping.
Misha G, good looking out.
Misha G, what's good, lady?
So Naki, I'm gonna get at you, Naki. I don't remember if I got your number, but I'll locate it. Man, yeah, Skull need to come on, man. He got a lot of people waiting to hear what he got to talk about.
Yeah, well, you know,
And you had a good live yesterday, man. I really enjoyed it. I usually don't watch nobody live from beginning to end, but I was tuned into your live, man.
hey man, it was a great live. And I got to go back and get Lee Ford, man, because Lee Ford said some interesting things about Suge, and I need to go back and revisit that. You know what I mean? I didn't get a chance to get into him really well as I did Demon, but man, did you hear what Lee said
As far as what?
about Suge?
Oh yeah,
And
yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
Being a childhood friend and wasn't a gang member and all that stuff.
right.
Yeah, I heard it.
And then he also said Suge had put a hit on him.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah, yeah. So
D Rock, good looking out, man. Salute Melly Mel.
man,
Yeah,
what's good?
man. Yeah, Lee Ford looked like he'll be an excellent interview, man. Nice and calm with a bunch of facts and stories that we haven't heard.
Yes, yes, he is, man. And he don't do this stuff, man. So I was surprised he even came on, man. He just don't, man.
When
He's
when he
actually go
when he
ahead.
said I don't do this, I thought he was about to go off on you. But he was just letting the audience know this is not him. He was just doing this
Right,
for you.
right. Yeah, I've been to his house and everything, man. So very very nice person. I met his wife. Two nice people, man, and he's just a well-rounded dude, man. He grew up over there in Ludus Park, and he actually lived in the mob, but he came up in an era when it was just looters, and then as it grew on, then they did the split and divide thing. But he remained true to what he was. and
Right.
he was one of them ones over there. Not the type of guy that went after nobody, but if you came at him, he introduced you to a whole lot of bullshit. If that's what you was looking for.
Mm-hmm. Man.
But yeah, he worked with Stan Shepard. Him and Stan Shepard are still business partners right to this day. They've been some over maybe since that early '90s something. Yeah.
I got a good one for you, Mel.
Okay.
Why don't you share an update on Bosco and all these big name actors that was part of his project?
Okay. The movie, as you guys know, is going. It went really well. I actually played a DEA agent, so we had Tyrese, we had DC Young Fly, we had Vivica Fox, we had I can't think of the dude that played in. He played in a lot of drug movies. The kind of SA Puerto Rican guy. What he played in? He's a real serious actor, man. I can't think of his name right now, but yeah, he was there. Let's see. We had, of course, we had Tory Lanez, Watch Homie Quan. There's a numerous of type, and then some other actors that also are in the MMA. They was playing correctional officers in it. So yeah, he got a lot of big names in there, and
Vivica Fox,
yeah, Vivica Fox killed it, man.
Danny Trejo.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah, he got some. Man, this ought to be a pretty good movie, man.
Yeah, it's gonna, man. I just looked at the trailer today, and it's fire. It's fire. You know, the interesting thing about movies, right? Because I was there on set, but I saw everything they were doing and how they were doing it. But in my mind, I didn't imagine all the graphics and all the digital stuff they would do and all the things they would make it pop and make it bling and make it grab you when you watch it. Once you see all that stuff, you like, wow, these people is, you know what I mean? Because they had them IRA cameras. I don't know if you're familiar with that camera. The IRA
I
camera.
mean, yeah, I
They're
know,
like,
I know what you're talking about, but I don't know how to use them. Yeah,
yeah, they like $100,000 worth of camera right there,
yeah,
man. The lens will cost you 50 and 60. You know, so
yeah. It costs more than a car.
yes, absolutely. So
You
yeah,
know,
they had.
here's the thing. You know,
Go ahead.
anybody that's into money or business or whatever, it's simple to understand. But people that's not into it, it's hard for them to grasp the fact that these people are buying $50,000 and $60,000 lenses because they're gonna make that money back.
Yes.
They gonna make it back, man. Them cameras are expensive, man. Um, a good camera, good lens, all that old stuff, it's worth it. And even like to going to school to learn all that stuff, it's worth it. They're gonna make that money back at least tenfold, at least.
So man, he been talking to Rick Ross, Tory Lanez, the Game. He's spoken with 50 Cent, you know what I mean? And all these guys is really impressed because you gotta understand, he just now coming up on a year, Kev. Just now. And you know what I mean? And he has, and I ain't gonna get into all the stuff that he has because that's not really important. But what I am gonna say, very intelligent, very articulate, very he moved with very good, precise calculations, and everything he's done has been the right moment at the right time. And he met some people, man, that actually want to buy the whole thing and pay everybody off.
Yeah. And you and your wife had invested. You told us before this project got
Right,
working. Yeah.
right, right.
Yeah. That's good, man. That's good. That's a great thing.
Yeah, we're invested, man. So it's gonna, man. You know, I'm looking forward to it, man. The premiere and everything, and go through all that. They hiring a PR team, and pretty soon here, man, he's gonna be on everybody in front of everybody's camera. So you got to get ready.
Hey, what up, Sinful to P? I just got a little good news. My grand nephew was just invited to play in a West Coast Pro Bowl football game at Ram Stadium. So shout out to my grandnephew EJ, man.
Shout out to EJ, man. Go on and do that thing, man. Go out there and show up and show out.
Yeah, you do that, EJ. Man, it's almost time for Skull, man. I hope he come through.
Yeah, I'm hoping he do too, man, because it's gonna be interesting to see exactly, from his perspective, how did he view it, and you know what I mean, and what he take from it, and what he don't, and how he's gonna proceed from now.
Yep. Kev, what was the relationship like between Odie Shaw, Raymond Potts, and Tookie? Well, Odie Shaw and Raymond Potts was so tight and they could fight so good, the nickname was Thunder and Lightning.
Thunder and lightning, man. That's a cold combination.
Yeah. And as far as their relationship with Tookie, I'm not 100% sure, so I can't speak on that. But they were all from the same neck of the woods, though, man. They all was right there, a few blocks from each other, all across Western Avenue, right there by each other.
Hey man, one thing I could say because I've been around Tookie, I've been in his atmosphere. He's talked to me, I've talked to him. You know what I mean on a couple occasions. But one thing I will say, man, from when I seen him, man, I tell you, man, you did not want him to lay one of them gloves on you. that man, that man hit people, man, and it was like, man, they got knocked in a whole nother future. You know.
Your boy Guy Walker would know.
Yeah, Guy Walker definitely know. And because we asked him, what did you do? Guy Walker said, I didn't do S. You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
man, what did you do when Tookie slapped you? Man, I didn't do S.
And that was a good one. That was a real
Yeah, that
good
was
one because he
bad.
was honest. He was honest. He was straightforward with it.
Man, the look on his face was classic.
Yeah, it was. It's like he remembered and he didn't want it to happen again, boy.
Yeah, I seen Tuck hit this one dude, man, and man, he went out, man. He went out so bad, man. He was down there flip flopping around like a fish, man. I didn't know if he was gonna come out of that, man, because it looked real bad. And then he just stiffened up and just was shaking. I'm like, man. And the other guy, he just grabbed him and like picked him up and slapped him, and he went out. So yeah, he hit it really hard, man. And I don't know what his boxing skill. I don't think his boxing skills was really that great, but as far as if he thundered you, hit you with that one shot, one punch kill, man, you was out of there. You wasn't surviving that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, park and recreations was real big in LA. Just about everybody, every kid growing up had a park nearby that they went to and played. Unfortunately, just like in Compton, most parks turn out to be home to a street gang.
Yes.
Uh, so
Yeah,
that,
that's how
that,
you got the Oaks
that was a
Park.
great place to recruit or get put on.
Yeah, that's where everybody got put on in Oaks Park. Everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where everybody went to the parks. Then when parks got dangerous and the police cracked down, a lot of people would go to the local school, hop the gate, and put somebody on.
Hey, but for the first few years, man, our parks were patrolled by Park Patrol, man. They didn't last. They didn't last a year after Tookie and my homie Robert Thomas and Doug and Big Roy Scott, Gary Miller, Chocolate, and Hercules and all them took over the park. Park Patrol didn't last a year, man. They had to bring in real police because they could not handle them dudes, man. It was funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I'm gonna give Skull a few more minutes, man, and I'm gonna call it a night, man.
Yeah, well, I don't
Yeah,
know why.
go ahead.
Now, I was gonna say I don't know why our people be, what I mean, do us like this, man. It just, it's just proper etiquette to me. It just. And I'm not speaking against Skull. I'm just saying in general, people. Nothing against Skull. I'm sure he has a perfect reason for his delay.
Yeah, Compton, man. Compton and Watts produce a lot of great athletes. South LA had our share, but they had some really great players come out of Compton and Watts, man.
Yeah, we had, man, like in my neighborhood, we had Lorenzo Romar, who played with Golden State, also played baseball. Then his brother Wayne Romar. Then we had the Carfinos. They lived over there. Then we had the O'Bannons. Then we had Kenny Landreau, Hubie Brooks, and Jeff DePanier. All lived in the Oaks Park area.
Long Beach Poly, yeah, they produce. Yeah, Long Beach too. Really, San Diego. San Diego put a lot of people on the map too, man.
Right.
So yeah, we
Oh
know.
yeah, I got this, Kev. You remember the boxer Howard K.O. Smith?
Yeah.
That's my homeboy Killer Rader's brother.
Mm.
Yep, that's his oldest brother, Howard K.O. Smith.
Yeah, they say Melly Mel's memory is impeccable. I say Melly Mel got a memory of a blind man. Photographic memory, boy.
Thank you. Yeah, Howard K.O. Smith, man. He fought Ali. He fought George Foreman and all that, man. Yeah, he was a knockout artist around there.
Yeah, Too Pretty Kenny now said Dennis Johnson had went to
Dominguez.
Dominguez?
Yeah, he went to Dominguez.
Okay. I don't know why I was thinking Centennial.
Yeah, he was a Don. Actually, Dennis Johnson lived over there in the South.
Did you know that Pyru that went to Centennial, they ended up in the NFL?
You talking about Sugarman Nelson?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know him, but I know who he is.
Okay. Yeah. Man. Oh, Melly Mel, man. You know you get up early. How late you stay up?
I went to sleep earlier, so I'm good. I'll probably get a couple more hours.
Yeah.
Because I got done at about 1 o'clock, so I went down early and woke back up, man.
That's what's
so
up.
I can break it. I can break it up like that. So you know what I mean. Just doing something different. That was how I was able to stay up some nights. I think it was the other night when I was on live.
Have you ever thought about what interview you want the most that you haven't got yet?
Not really. I think that once I get the CCO guys to sit down and just explain that whole puzzle, I think that'll solve a lot of things in regards to. There we go.
What's up, Scar?
Hey, what's moving, man? I'm just getting in from out of Atlanta. Out of Dallas. Just made it in. They delayed our flights. That's why I had told you we'll be in a couple of minutes. So I'm ready to rock and roll, man. And let's go on and make this happen.
All right, Mel. If you want to stick around, you can get in on this too.
No, I'm gonna hop out, Kev, because I want to really listen to what Skull has to say. Hey, Skull, what's going on, bro?
Hey, what's up, big bro? Pleasure. As always, homie. How you doing? We represent this West Coast. Yes, sir, man. It's always a pleasure.
Man, keep doing the work, man.
Oh, that's all God sent me after this time, man. At the end of the day, we're just trying to give back to the community in which I grew up in, make it better for all.
Okay, with that being said, Professor Melly Mill, I'm out. I'm gonna listen offline, Kev.
All right, Mel, tell your boy I say what's up. You know who I'm talking about, nephew. That run with my son.
Yeah. Yeah, he coming, man. He coming. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Skull, I got your number. I'll give you a call.
Yes, sir. Please do. Okay. What's up, Kev?
What's up, Skull, man? Long time coming, man. Welcome to the platform.
Yeah. You know how that go, man.
Tonight. The first thing I want to say, you hit mute. You got your mute button on. Oh, he done checked out on us. He'll be back. I remember when he told the story about taking lifeguard tests at swimming pool. Tonight's guest, Melvin Farmer. We waiting on Melvin to click back in. There we go.
Back off mute, Kev.
Yeah, you good now. I just want to first say, man, thanks for doing the work, man. I see you out there and you're doing your thing and kind of like youth, man, you always got a good message for the youth, man, and that's important.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Now, you know, one of the main reasons, well, I want you here because you skull and you represent the area you come from, which is notoriously known as the Eight Tray Gangsters. But specifically, I wanted you here tonight to talk about the interview with Charleston White.
Yes, sir.
So let's start with, how did that interview come about, man? How did you end up there on that podcast?
Well, after we sat back, me and I told Marvin, when this whole incident started 6-7 months ago, and about a month ago, Marv called. I told Marvin from Peru, asked me, say, hey man, I want to get up there and go up there, and I'd like to talk to Charleston White and have a conversation. So I said, well, I can put it together. So I called Elvis that run Boss Talk Radio 101 down in Dallas. I called Charleston White, Queen, the other co-host, and we put it together and we made the arrangements and we went down there. And that's how that went. I put that together.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And for the people that don't know what happened, tell us what this whole little video that is hot on the internet about Charleston being disrespectful and what have you.
Well, at the beginning, and I had learned from Michael Conception, he said, Melvin, one day we talking, he said, Melvin, can't nobody interview you but yourself, because they wouldn't know where to start on certain things. So I was only going to narrate because I know all parties involved. And in fact, Charleston White came to Los Angeles, to St. Andrews Park, to meet me where he was following me. So I introduced Charleston White to Cappuccino, Peak Windbush, Ray Shauna Washington, everything, the Nipsey Hussle, everything he talked about, he experienced it as far as when he came to LA. So Marv had wrote his notes where I was going to open it up and say, hey, we're here to share history and information where this will be a non-hateful event. That would have set the ground rules where the fuck all you and this, so it wouldn't even go there. But instead, the host went to Charleston White first, and he expressed his, we sat back and he went expressing his thoughts and things and mentioned a couple of names, which I felt was disrespectful to those living and dead. And I just couldn't let that go, and that started from there.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting, and you was a stand-up guy when you said nobody can talk bad about Nipsey and Lil Sody and Tookie and Monster Cody. You know, and the reason why is because Nipsey and Monster Cody and Tookie aren't here to defend themselves.
That was my point exactly. That ain't how this game go, man. You can't sit up and try to scull a man's legacy. Monster Cody's brother, Kerwin Scott, calls me every week. Dog, my man right here standing behind me, he just had went and seen Cody's son in Houston. And we talked, what was that, the other week, about 2 weeks ago?
Yeah,
and they
talked to you when I was in Vegas.
Yeah, when they went. So they were grieving over the loss of their brother, and they was telling us how we appreciate you, bro. Cody always looked up to you. We always thought you was the coolest one. Because you know how I get down, Kev. I don't play that shit. And I just didn't think that that was the focus to where this man lost his life, and we want his legacy. He has parents, he has kids, and I don't think that type of dialogue, negativity, and energy should be directed on somebody that's not here. And somebody had to take a stand.
Yeah, and you took that stand, which is commendable. I look at it, though we come from the same place, I look at it like, would he said that if Nipsey was there? Would he said that if Monster was there? Would he have said that if Tookie was there? You know, that's the difference, man. You waiting to dudes is resting in peace, but you didn't have that to say. At least we wasn't aware of it when they was alive. You
Yes,
know what I
sir.
mean? And
Yes, sir.
that's very disrespectful and simply put, cowardice. But definitely distasteful, man. Charleston talks a lot. That's his business, what he's doing. But when you start involving our loved ones, man, that pisses people off sometimes. It's almost like he's trying to make a mockery out of Crips and Bloods in LA.
Yeah. Well, I don't know because, like, I don't look at social media because it got to be too much propaganda and politics being spewed. Because we all went through the 100 days, 100 nights, where that started off the internet, KP, BK, and so forth, Straw Dog, and everybody else that lost their life in 2015. Condolences to all that had lost it from 2015. So we didn't want that to go through, man. You're absolutely right. And we know how dangerous this internet can get when everybody up here trying to be like Adolf Hitler or King Shit at Third Island. And that it just got too much. So I don't really know what be said by anybody, so I can be an unbiased urban analyst. So when I do hear it the first time, I can give you an open and honest response to where we can really try to bring some resolution to this bullshit that's going on and try to make some sense out of this nonsense.
You know, that's interesting. I like that because I'm similar, but for a different reason. I don't watch much social media at all. I mean, I'm on Instagram, but I don't follow a lot of people on Instagram for some of those same reasons. But I like it to be organic and flow too. I want to hear questions for the first time and hear information for the first time so I can give an organic answer. And quite frankly, a lot of it's acting, man. A lot of these dudes are great actors, and I don't, if I want to watch a movie or comedy, I'll turn the TV on. I don't have to look at YouTube for that or Facebook or none of that stuff. And you probably know I left Facebook years ago, man. Facebook was such a joke. But
yes, sir. Understood.
The key thing that you said though, man, and I don't think it's just LA, but by us being from LA, I know you travel throughout the United States often, a lot more than me anyway. But yeah, that stuff is serious in LA. You get on social media woofing and showing guns and talking about what you will do and won't do, man, you can end up dead real quick in LA.
Mm-hmm.
And so
not only go ahead, Kev.
No, and so I understand why you don't fall for them antics and the childish behavior like that.
Yeah, you can't sit up in there and set yourself up. And these guys must not realize that the FBI watches, they got task forces, they getting cases off of what you say off these shows where you're getting your ass indicted, phone taps, and then when the feds come, they come to make a splash and everybody gone. And then what usually happens, somebody like me with 60 arrests, 30-some years in prison who just diddling around and ain't really got nothing to do with what's really going on, but they'll take it out on our ass, and this cat over here that ain't never been arrested and got more graduation pictures than mug shots to go home to take another college picture. So I try to stay around that, man, because we have too much imminent emulating and acting on these social medias, and these youths are trying to emulate what they see when it's really not a positive example of how life should be. And that we've been through it. We don't want nobody. I don't want to hear about you being hurt or nobody. I know your family and I just don't. I know too many people that have lost their lives to where somebody that's a student of this game gonna come and distort history. Because you can't know your present unless you know your past.
Yes, absolutely. Everything you stated right there was facts. I agree 100%. Um, man, and even when you said emulating, like I said, I see them as actors, man. A lot of people are acting. Um, and I mean, even like homeboys from my hood, I'm not gonna speak on your hood, but around LA, different hoods, there's a lot of actors on social media, man. But it really gets wild when we got these guys from other states that try to, what is the word, infiltrate our culture. And now they got you telling you history of LA and they ain't even from LA. They want to argue you down about it. And then they want to send threats. And you damn right, the FBI and everybody else is watching, man.
Yeah. So, y'all pay heed to that, man, because you can get T-rolled in this game.
Without question. But the good
Fact.
thing, too, what I thought you was going to say is I thought you was alluding to the fact that guys your age, and at this point, guys my age, man, we not trying to pump up no gang banging, man. We telling you about the pitfalls of gang banging.
Yeah. We trying to get rid of our reputations and they trying to get the reputations we trying to get rid of. It's a conflict of interest. We ain't got the same dialogue. Right. And that's what happens a lot. A falsehood can never coexist with the truth. Never. So a lot of times these guys are perpetrating, acting image and acting like they all that, and it's a falsehood, and that's why so much combustion and friction start on these shows, because the language is not the same. The dialect, the conversation, you can have a conversation, but the contents might not be the same. And if we got a bad habit of guys, I speak on my era. And I can speak on the era that came behind me for 50 years. So I can speak on every era because I've been through it in prison or on the streets or whatever, and always been socially connected. But you have a lot of guys up here that have come on these shows and they ain't even had sex with their socks off and gonna say what they were doing when you was out here fucking around in these streets. And they shouldn't do that. Speak on your era when you can relate with the crew that you did, but don't try to overstep like you King Shed Turd Island. Because you can't get crown playing chess. This is checkers. And you know what I'm saying? Right. This is chess.
Right.
I never put a king above a god. We seem to emulate and want to put niggas and crown them. Oh, that's king this. I'm running this line and you running that line. But where's the profit? We should be going to where we have enough block to where we can control this inner city when it comes to elected officials and kill off this nepotism. Because to create a safe or better community, we must start looking at local and elected officials that was put there in place to serve the community when in fact they're getting profits off the blood of our people. Absolutely. So we have to change the dialogue, and we have to have guys that are really impactful at the long table when other guys are there that shouldn't even be having a seat there, sitting up here representing us when they have no direct impact or investment in our community. So how can you speak on a community when you're sitting on the hill and we down here struggling, trying to just survive every day in life? It can't go like that. We need better representation from those that are actually, hold on, Kev.
Yes, sir.
Hold on. That are actually being adversely affected, whether it be by the criminal justice system, senseless gun violence, which I don't believe there's no such thing as senseless gun violence because all of them were done with a meaning and a purpose. So how can it be senseless when the gunman had some meaning and a purpose when he come to get at your ass? So I just think we need to really focus and bring guys in that are reputable, that can really want to give back to where these guys can look up to, as you say, an OG, a BG, a YG, but they look up to them with respect. I don't want people to look up to me for what I did in the past. I want them to recognize me that if I can do it, I've been out 7 years. I got 10 years parole. My next arrest get me the habitual criminal in the peds. So I got to walk on pins and needles. My mama say, Melvin, don't break the law. I want to be able to tell people, which I've never done, that you went to work. So I had to change my life, and I've been through tremendous battles, and I mean real battles, real battles. And my mother said, just stay home. I'm getting old. I want you to watch my sisters. But she told me don't break the law for the very first time in her life. She never said, Melvin, don't do this. If I say I got a problem, my mama say, be careful. And I don't care whether it go from attempted curfew to attempted murder. My mama gonna say, let they mama cry. I'll come see you in the courtroom. And that's what I stand by. I'm just trying to make them. Go ahead, Kev.
I was gonna say that's deep. So look, a little bit off subject, but you mentioned you been through the system and all that. Was you in prison, California prison during the 80s?
Yeah,
How about
I
the
was
70s?
there.
How about the 70s?
Yes. I was in prison. Yes, go ahead, Kev.
So my question is this. This is your opinion or whatever facts you may have, your experience or what have you. Were blacks, in your experience, in prison the majority, or were Hispanics the majority?
When I first went to prison, it was me, Mumpy, Russell Capers, Guy Walker, Meaty, Donald Ray brother Kenny, Gooch, Big Rick, Sexy Bird from, it was a gang of us. But back then, you had to do a crime, a vicious crime usually to go to prison. So you can't go like it is over infatuated because you're getting drug dealers sentenced for non-violence, non-serious offenses. Back then, when we started, you had to have basically a violent offense to get up in there. So I would say when I got there, it was probably a percentage like probably 35 Latinos. Then it would split because we at that time they didn't have like the Asians, the Polynesians, or any other races. Pretty well strictly along the ABs and Brotherhoods, the Whites, Mexican Mafias, Northern Familiars, Crips, Bloods, Vanguards, Blue Notes, Black Coats. When that even was hadn't even been created until about 77, because most of the Crips, when they started, were youths. And if you look at the records, you would never see that Raymond Washington, Tookie, Donald Archie, Buddha. These guys went to jail one time because they never would have survived 50 years or 30 arrests. They couldn't get, they were adults. We were juveniles where we were getting 2-3 years for a murder. Get caught with a gun, they give it back. Carjacking was called an auto theft when your mama get them. So we didn't get punished. We still were up under the laws before the juvenile fitness hearing, which was created behind the behavior. If you look at the Supreme Court decision based on the activity of the youths, the browns and the blacks that were perpetrating and flowing in the streets from 1971 to 75. And then that's when the juvenile fitness hearing came out. And so at that time, it only was basically 3 races in there.
And so are you saying we was about even, the blacks and Hispanics?
Yeah, pretty much. When you look at it, it'll be 35. But the thing of it is if we're less populated, why we're the most ones being incarcerated in jail at an enormous rate. And then later on, they come out with the 3 strikes law when they already had a habitual criminal law in every state in the United States from 1920. So there really was no lead for that law, only to help perpetuate this new industry that we call prison. And if you guys want to read a great book, I'm also the first 3 striker to ever get out on a life sentence. I wrote a book predicting mass incarceration in 97. called A New Slave Ship. 3 strikes you in, not out. So
is the new slave ship available on Amazon Books?
yes, it's available on all the social media outlets, audio, video, print, the bookstores, Barnes and Nobles, all that. Or you can go to Milligan Books on Manchester and Western, or Osawans, or any of them, and the book is available, $10, and you guys can get educated on these laws. Where when you get in there, you do not know the law, and if you don't know the law, you ain't gonna be able to beat them because you're gonna have a goddamn dummy as a client yourself. So I just try to educate.
Right. So last prison question. So was there ever a change in the numbers? And if so, when did you start seeing that change? Around the crack era, later on, or what? After the riot?
Well, in my era, when I was going to prison, there were very few double cells. There was basically single cell status. Then, as the population started inflowing and they started opening up there where they could create a bigger net to catch you and send you to prison, they went to double bunking and they started taking. See, we had a lot of privileges in there. You could have, like Herman Moncrief, boxing champ, Stacy Bullock's boxing. I'm playing basketball. AAU's coming in, the Oakland Raiders giving us, and the San Francisco 49ers giving them they practice pads and stuff, whether you could start the league. So we had a lot of things that we could do. You could get go to school and get the grant money actually sent to you. You could get when your parents die and they leave you whatever that's called when they die, because I ain't never experienced that. And so at that time, like I say, they started taking away that and the privileges, and they started changing it into punishment. And then it started increasing with other races as they started coming in. And that started after SB 42, and they went from a life sentence to a day for day where you get a number and an exact date, which go on now. So they started changing culture, and other races started coming somewhere around like when the cocaine era started, Ether Basin and all that in 77, then crack cocaine 79. It started changing the way you had a different type of persons that was coming. It was very easy to get sent to the prison. But when we was going at the beginning, you had to have basically a violent offense.
Yeah, the hardcore people were going.
Yes, sir.
Then you had people going for drug offenses, selling or using, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
in other
Go
words,
ahead.
the population got a little weaker.
Yes, the population got a little watered down, because when I first went to prison, it was very dangerous. You got the Mexican mafia, got the Aryan Brotherhood, you got Crips, you got the Bloods, you got BGF, you had the who was these other boys that used to be with them. But the thing about it was, when you was a Crip and going there, the game changed, because now we going in here where we're coming in here for committing crimes, maybe against our own, but we're sticking to where this is what we doing. The whereas they were saying, telling us, and I mean, they were saying that you got to tuck that blue rag, because back then you could still wear blue rags, get the colors, because the prisons hadn't really had a street gang. Because a lot of people don't know the difference between a street gang and a prison gang. Crips and Bloods formulated on the streets. So therefore, we have no chain of command. But when you go to the BGF, the Mexican Mafia, they have a change of command, and that is the prison gang. And those are the differences. You can't come ask one Crip, hey, and it's a universal. We have too many factions, too many tribes, and that is the difference in our problem. We don't have one true person up front, because once again, everybody wants to be king shit of Third Island.
Mm-hmm. That's true. You came to my homeboy Stag's funeral. Tell me about Stag and your relationship?
Well, when Stag, who I knew at 14, 15, him, Stacy Bullock, me, Rodney Buckner, uh, uh, we jackets. We taking, like I say, we was robbing ice cream trucks or armored trucks at 14. And when Stacy and them brought the Brohams from Lou Elders, when they had went in and robbed the little thing, because we used to get all type of money. We might at that time, one of the secrets we used to do is they didn't have mail drops to where you could drop the weekend receipts from Friday to Monday. So we knew if we could get up in that locker and go up into that office on a Monday morning, we're going to get $70,000, $80,000. Because they're going to either have that money in that safe, waiting on that safe to open at that time or for that armored truck to come, or that money going to be there. And if the money we had to wait on the safe, it ain't that many workers. After we don't snuck in on the dock, we had a manager call everybody, the few workers up there for emergency meeting, staff meeting, and we got everybody. So I made a lot of money with Stacy, Stag, Victor Cooper, who robbed Tiffany's, Dwayne Harris, James Looney, Gene Keys, Kyle Roberts. And if you notice, I'm not naming nobody from Eight Tray because I've never been to jail with nobody from Eight Tray because they wasn't doing that. They were strictly my crew over there, Rayford, Hunchy. They strictly gangbangers, gunners. But they were working. Rayford Daddy at 17, he got all them a job at UCLA. He asked me, Melvin, you want to work? I told him no. I didn't get my first job till a couple of years ago because my mama said she want to be able to say, I can go to work. So one of the first guys that I ran with over there, and we ran pretty long, was Rip, Rodney. Me, Rodney, Babyface, Ava, Babyface Mama. In fact, when Babyface got injured and shot, and they was over Rona House, this when they was on 8th Avenue, one-eyed net off South Drive, what you call them, who rest in peace, just stay on the corner, then they moved down. I forgot her name, but I can remember it. Babyface had got shot, and they were all over Rona Rip House, and they didn't know what to do to take him to the hospital because he's going to go to jail to get cases. So Devil was there, and they hollered out, well, why don't we take him and call Melvin's mom and see if she'll come around here and help us. And my mama went and took Babyface to the hospital. See, me, that's what I'm saying with me. Before this split up, I know these people mama. Rodney mama talked to me, the Curl in the Day, a lot of these people, Perry Manuel, and a lot of them, Rayford's mother, James Miller, Russell Caper's mother. My mama used to bring Russell Caper, James Miller. She knew them all, Tookie, like she witnessed this. So that's why I fell back, because it wouldn't be fair for me to be in this type of battle where I know where everybody stay. It ain't going to be fair. You ain't going to be able to put your key in the lock with me knowing where you stay. And if they would talk about our era, which you never see nobody from the 70s in our era talk, because we got cases to where they didn't tell on you back then. I never heard of a snitch till they start coming in behind drugs and stuff. At the most, we'll say is, man, I think he telling. There was no such thing as a snitch when we was coming up. Because we had a thing where if one of us, if it's 10 of us go, and one of us can ride that beef and whoever can ride the beef and get the less time, he gonna go in there and plead guilty and cut everybody. But nowadays, if everybody go in one, get out, oh, he snitched to get out. That ain't how that game goes. I want everybody to get out and everybody take care of the one that's in. We ain't got to all ride this beef. So they got that twisted to where you got to ride out with everybody. This ain't about ride or die. It's about wisdom and thinking smart.
Right. So let's go full circle. At the end of the Charleston White interview, fill us in what we didn't see when the camera went off.
Well, after he walked out, I had to go outside, and he was hesitating, stopping, going. Because if he leaves and we don't talk and have some type of understanding, it's going to be a problem where somebody's going to get put on their back without no questions asked because you didn't resolve where we stand when we could have did it there. So finally, he stopped, and all I told him was, check this out, bro. I've been knowing you better than most people, anybody. And I said, all I can tell you is steel sharpens steel, bro. Chalk it up and let it go, and let's get back in there. And that's all I told him. Steel sharpens steel. Don't take it personal. Men have disagreements, but that doesn't mean you have to go to resource or nothing, but just learn a lesson. Steel sharpens steel. And that's all that was said.
Right. Yeah, that's good, man. You know, you got everybody talking about it and making up their own conclusions and stuff. But again, you was a stand-up guy to speak up for the dead, man. That was good shit.
Yeah, man. You know, I love my city, and I die for this town. But I'm not going to let one person speak about our history and try to twist this shit to get likes. I make sound bites. And I'm not going to do that. I don't care who it is, Blood, Crip, Mexican. If we from LA, I can't go for that, particularly when you're emulating what we started. Now you're going to run your mouth about some shit we doing. Mm-hmm. No, that ain't going down, That ain't going down. So, like I say, I just did it out of respect for Nipsey Hussle. You know, Kev, I know a lot of them. I come over there and don't stood around there at night over Perry Mania house when it been 200 or 300, and everybody know that's Melvin. But they give me that respect because I give respect. Always have, always will. Can't nobody say nothing bad about me unless they trying to dirty Mac or whatever. But other than that, I'm going to help this community and try to give the wisdom and the support that I need to make it safe for not only my child and the next generation, but your child and other child that are adversely affected in these pockets of poverty that Obama called it, or rat infested as Trump called them. But they still talking about us. We need representation from us, where we had a platform such as you have and others, to where we use it. We have the power because we had to control the propaganda. When Hitler was messing with them Jews, he dropped leaflets. Propaganda. All this is politics and propaganda. So I salute you, Kev, for what you're doing. A lot of people like to criticize others of what they're doing to try to get back. You don't have to come in this lane. Right. Because you can think that you see at the end of the tunnel where you think it's light, and it could fuck around and be a train coming at your ass and get run right over.
Yeah, real talk. A lot of people don't know what goes on behind the scenes and all that stuff. But let me ask you this. In your mind or your opinion, do you even have an opinion of what made Charleston go from this guy that seems infatuated with LA, go to almost like hate LA, hate gangbangers, and he was supposed to be an ex-gang member himself?
Kev, that's a great question, bro. And I always said Kev sharp because he know how to answer. At the beginning of the show, we had let Charleston, I had said exactly was Charleston met everybody, and his journey that he say went on, when did the journey begin? And that would have led to the start. And I also said, I want to know how we were here and how we here now. But we never got to that. So you know what, Kev? Maybe we can hear it from his mouth or whoever and see, why are you saying this? Because what happens is everybody here embraced him. St. Andrews Park, they embraced him. Cappuccino embraced him. Ray Shana embraced him. We laced him.
A.C. Moses. AC Moses also.
He met AC Mose, Babalu through me. That's how Babalu, because when I was in Houston prior to that, I got numerous shows I've done with Charleston White. In fact, I was managing Charleston White. I got video and all that. I know this kid very well, and he's very talented. But I wanted to know what made him change here. Now, maybe something happened. You know how they go. You think you're getting this, and then you get put to sleep on some type of deal or whatever. So I want to know what made you change to where we are at this critical situation now, and where we disregarding and disrespecting each other when it didn't come out like that. You came in humbly, you came in respected, and that stands on me because you came to me. So my face is on it. And there's a difference in this game when you're a civilian, as he said he is a civilian. And when a civilian makes a mistake, they can chalk it up. But when you're out here in the streets and making mistakes and talking shit, you could get a closed casket behind this shit. So it's a different ball game. And that's what I had to explain to him, bro. My face is on this because you met me. So we got to rectify this one way or the other. And that was it. Conflict resolution.
There you go, right there. I tell my people all the time that a lot of people don't have conflict resolution in them. This is what I thought was striking. The man opened up talking about he learned everything from Monster Cody and how much he loved Monster's book. So I'm trying to find out, when does the student hate the teacher all of a sudden?
And that's what I'm saying. I'm the teacher, he the student, but also I'll be honest. He taught me things, but it wasn't from a street perspective. It's from a swear guy that worked, could get jobs, and I learned things like that I've never done. How easy, and I learned that having a record does hinder you. Because when he came out here, he went right to Hollywood and got a job getting $3,000-$4,000 a month. And then I can say this about it. At that time, when everybody remember when my son, who got 500 years, he had left his DNA. But what a lot of people didn't know, before they had caught his little butt, they raided my house and ran me out of Riverside to where I couldn't come back for 3 years. So I'm pillar to post at that time, 2016, 17, 18, for 3 years. I'm on pins and needle. I'm on parole from the chain gang in Georgia. And he had come out here, and we made, honestly, some money together. Or if I'm hungry, he gonna feed me. If he need help, like when he got trapped over there with the Denver Lanes, and they was fit to do something, he called me, Melvin, what's going on? What I need to do? I walked him out that situation. So we was working. I'm telling you, the guy, I want to know why you flipped. And we're going to get the answer, because we're going to get him back on. And we're going to go on and continue this and have a dialogue like we have it now and talk as men. Right. And that's what, and it's going to come with respect. It's going to come with respect. It got to come with respect.
Right.
We earn that.
Mandatory.
Yeah.
Well, all right, man, look here, Melvin, man. This been a long time coming. When things loosen up on your end, I want to sit down with you and get a real interview.
Kev. Now, you know and I know, we done been at many a thing where you don't seem where I'm the only one from Eight Tray that'll come.
Oh, absolutely.
See, they really need to know Melvin's story.
Yeah.
Because don't nobody hear it. Because I don't like talking about me, Kev. Usually when you see me on the show, they ask for only me to be on there. But I always bring somebody else to keep the pressure off of really going into my time when I was doing what I do. Because I promise you, it's not going to be nice. And people might start saying, man, this goddamn Melvin, about to bam. And I don't want my mama to already know what she know, where it's confirmed. I want my mama to be proud of me. Because at the end of, yes, sir.
You know one thing about me, man, I'm not going to cross the thin line. So I won't put you on no spot like that.
Oh, no, no, I'm ready whenever you are, Kev. You always got an open door. Like this morning, you had Keith Stone call me. Hey, man, Kev, want you on? What did I do, Kev? I'll call you in 5 minutes and say, set it up. I'm
Absolutely.
always there. And that's
And
how we get on.
I
Yes, sir.
respect that. You know, we had a hard time hooking up for a long time. But I was going to mention that too. Absolutely, you show up to 60 events and you come to our neighborhood by yourself and you are welcome. But I'm going to tell you part of the reason why. My big homies, guys older than me, a few years older than me to a bunch of years older than me, man, they ain't got nothing but love and respect for you. That's why. And they don't talk about you behind your back or insult you. They tell the younger homies that Melvin's the homie. So everybody know that Skull is the homie from the different generations. And so that's why. But you know everybody can't do that in LA, man. You can't be going to rival turf hood and be okay. You know what I mean? But you could do that, Melvin. You know that.
Thank you, Kev. I'm really appreciate that, boy.
Yeah.
You know, and like I say, I know it's not too many kill. I'm gonna give you a good example of what happens in my life. Rest in peace, Dollar Bill. When Dollar Bill and that incident happened, I'm over there talking. In fact, I'm talking to Mumbles, and he got their portfolio up where they got all the obituaries, so everybody been killed from their clique. And we talking about Dollar Bill. And he say, man, you know Dollar Bill. I say, I'm a no Dollar Bill. And he say, that's such and such son that you used to talk to. And he named his mama name. And I ended up knowing the kid when he was born, but I didn't know that was him later on in life. Like Lil Spy. When I heard the younger Spy, I know the OG Spy, so I write UGs and I got him and I send him a text. I say, man, is that a Burns? Is that Burns and Odie Gilchrist? And Odie got killed at Sportsman Park in 73. So I know that boy bloodline. See, I've been in it, and us and others been in it to where we're going to either know your grandmama, your great-grandmama, because we at that age now. But the only problem here in Los Angeles, there's no retirement for us, particularly if we still live in this community at the stages and the way they're acting now. I can't walk freely in every direction, north, south, east, or west 10 blocks. We imprisoning ourselves. We need to open up, and I bet you we'll prosper much more with the police out our business where we're policing ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm gonna go ahead and let you go, man. You have a safe trip. You still out of town, right?
No, I just made it back because we got. I've been,
Okay.
yeah. Remember I told you that's
Yeah,
why I
but I
was
didn't know you
trying to
landed
back a
here.
little.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Dog just picked me up. The homie just picked me up, and I'm just touching down. So it's been a long, hectic, brutal week. So we making it happen, Kevin. I'm always open whenever you want me to come up on your show. I'm always open and ready for you.
All right, that's a good look, man. People in the comment section saying they've been waiting on this and they would really like to see me interview you. So we got people waiting for us. Shit, can you find somebody to give us a check for an interview?
Well, that's what they're going to have to do. We're going to figure it out. I think we have enough clout to where if they quit going on these Vlad and white men shows to where we start locking it in all the way around and make them come to us. We have the power to do it. We have to just unify.
Okay, you just opened up a can of worms, man. You went on Vlad TV.
Yeah, but I didn't go on there for me. They thought I was going on there to talk about LLC, that Crip stuff, and I didn't have no intentions on going on there. And they thought they were tricking me to come talk about that like I knew about it, and I flipped the script. I didn't even know nothing about no Vlad TV. In fact, they wanted to interview this girl, and the girl said, no, Melvin, you go. So when I went on Vlad, I didn't have no conceptions or really tripping because they wasn't doing what they doing now as far as abusing. I didn't know nothing about no Vlad TV. It wasn't nothing to me, but just no more different than me just talking. But after I got off that show, he ain't never had me back because I didn't go along with what he wanted.
Well, the
And
one part I liked is you plugged your book.
yeah, man, I'm trying to create a paycheck. I
Right.
don't get nothing, man. Everything I do come out my pockets,
Man,
and
you
I
was
don't know how I get it because, like I say, that we went on our own dime to Dallas, Texas. Then nobody sponsor us. We went down there because we felt it was time and we needed to go. We
yeah.
needed to go to bring some closeness to where we're gonna see what he really talking about.
Yeah, that's the cold part about us, man. Me and Rockhead, me and Big U, a lot of us talk about how we do stuff really from the heart because we're not getting paid to do the stuff that we do. When you start talking about traveling and speaking to youth, but I do got a question about Vlad though. Be honest, did he pay you? No.
Nope, nope. And it a lot of times on these shows you won't get paid because like when you see a infomercial and they say this person is paid to say this, that creates a conflict of interest on an interview to where they might be tainting what they're saying. So a lot of times you have to figure out a way to get money behind the scenes to where you bring in the guests showing pictures, but that could be worked out to where they could make some paperwork out to cover their tracks because they the
Yeah.
only ones profiting. So and in fact, I don't speak for free no more. I don't want the limelight. I don't have to be on social media. I can be content with a 500 a week job and taking my ass to work every day and coming home. I'm not trying to get famous. I'm an introvert. I like being alone, solo. You very seldom see me with a crowd. So
Man, you ain't
no,
no
I don't.
Aries.
No, I'm
Yeah.
a tour. So I
I,
never. Go ahead.
I'm an
Okay.
introvert too. That's all. I'm an introvert as well.
Yeah, I like because what happens because usually an introvert when they speak it's always me because you don't hang around with nobody where it's gonna be a we. We ain't doing shit together. So that goes like that. And Vlad, now he's gonna want us to be on there. I'm quite sure because he's showing video clips and putting up things every day. But unless he's coming with some money, I'm not going nowhere. I do yours or something like that, but I'm not going on nobody's show for free no more because I think I earned it and we've earned it where we should be entitled to compensation. No more different than we being pimped like the college football players are now.
Absolutely. You know, Vlad offered me money to work for him, man. I turned him down. I said, I'm keeping my stuff with my people, man. I'm not taking my people's history to you. That's out. And, I never heard from him again. But,
Yeah.
see, Melvin, and I'm sure you don't know this about me, but I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there. My mother
Yes, sir.
was really into her blackness. She was a light skin, red bone, yellow bone, but she come from the Central Valley, and so the closest cities was like Oakland and Frisco, and so she come from that Black Power shit, that Black Panther shit, and so I was kind of raised with a strong black mother that was into her blackness. So I do still have some of those values instilled in me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And I do too because I witnessed the Watts riots, the National Guards. Although I witnessed it, I didn't understand it. I didn't understand the movement. I didn't understand what it was about. 1965, I'm about 7 or 8 years old, but I remember vividly the fires, the burning, the looting, the National Guards, the killing, the water hoses. In fact, I was in Memphis right when Martin Luther King, because my mother's from Memphis, Mississippi. My daddy's from Memphis. One of my sisters, younger ones, was born in Memphis. Then I'm born here, then one born there, then the other one born back here. So I've witnessed all the civil rights, the JFK murder, Malcolm X, Meggers, the bombings, all this, but I didn't recognize or know what they were fighting for. And only later on in life, and once again, that go back, you can't know your present unless you know your past. Now I understand what the struggle was really about.
Right.
And we flipped again. Go ahead.
And I wasn't so much talking about the struggle. Yeah, she was part of it, but I meant the fact that, I still got some black pride and I'm not willing to sell out. I mean, it may be a point where I feel like it's a great opportunity to sell out, but if it's not going to get me rich, I'm not going to entertain the thought. And so I thought, nah, bro, I can't help you with that. He offered me some money to find Monster Cody for me. After he seen me interview Monster Cody. But I haven't heard from him since then because he know where I stand. And so that's all I was saying. I do have some morals and principles. That
I understand personally. Yeah. And I did too. Because I told him I'm not coming back. He wanted me to get him King Tone. So I said, all right, I called King Tone. Then he wanted Sean Stevenson from the Black Philly Mob. I said, okay. But I say, bro, you need to get at me and figure out some type of financial compensation because you can't get these cats. And really, I can get a lot of people that nobody. O'Neal Brown, Clarence Hoover, Red, the Hoover Assassin, Durrell Ransom. I can get anybody I want. Basically, to come on my show because they know it's going to be straight and we ain't going to be going to that bullshit. So you're absolutely correct, Kev. I applaud you for that. And I never said another word to him again either. I walked on off. And I haven't heard from him since.
And I want to be clear. My comments had nothing to do with you and you going on the show. So just to be clear.
I ain't even tripping that because a lot of times it would seem contradictory. But at the time, my thoughts wasn't like that because I didn't look at social media as no avenue to try to come up or to get likes or to try to become famous. Never have, never will. So I didn't look at it. But in hindsight, as we went on, because that's been, I've been out 7 years, things have changed to where my perspective is. I have enough sense to know that, hey, we can do this same thing he's doing on our own. So at the time, I wasn't as knowledgeable about the circuit and how it operates.
Yeah, you mentioned that to me about 3 years ago. So absolutely. And that's why I said you keep pushing and I commend you for that and steady learning the game. I remember you was telling me about grants and all that type of stuff. So
yes, sir.
It's just unfortunate, Skull, that people like myself and you and many others, we wait till we got so old to start learning the new game. You know what I mean?
It's sad.
But that's why we so important when we speak. The youth need to listen because they can cut out all the bullshit. They don't have to go to prison to learn the shit that we learn. You know what I mean? They can get it from us right now while we still here and we trying to tell them.
Yes, sir. I agree with you. Agree. 100%.
Last thing I'm gonna say is those names you named, Clarence Hoover, O'Neal Brown, et cetera, those are all good names, man. And you probably are the only one in LA that can get them to come to the table. So again, shout out to you, bro. Thanks for coming on. And I got your number in my new phone. So we're gonna definitely talk and try to make that happen, bro.
For sure. I'm with you, man. We can make it happen, man. Anytime, Kev. It's always a pleasure whenever we meet, bro. And I'm proud of you too, young bro. Keep up the good work, man. Keep your head up.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man. You stay safe. Much love, man.
All right,
tell
one love.
Yashi I said what's up, kiddo.
Tell who?
Come on, dog.
Tell Yashi I said what's up, man. Remember you talked to me when I was out there in Vegas, boy.
This dog here.
Yeah. What up, man? For
what's
sure.
Up, tell Yashi I said what's up, man.
All right, for sure.
All right, Kev, anytime, man. And for y'all that tune in, we want to thank you, Kev Mac and Melvin Foreman. You know, I host the show called Hidden Corners, where we do what we do to help give out information, news before it's news. And tune in to us, man. And let's all quit hating on each other, man. Let's try to do something where we can prosper as one. There's enough money out here for all of us. America makes the money, man. It's just up to us to figure out a way to get it. And that starts with that pencil and pen. We got to learn how to work that pen like they do. Mm-hmm. All right, Kev.
All right,
It's
peace.
a pleasure. All right.
All right.
One love, one life.
All right. All right, y'all. That's it. Melvin Farmer Skull has graced the KMV platform live streams. We're going to get him to the Blue Channel because I know that's what y'all really want. And me and my partner S-Mac been wanting to talk to Skull for years. He get a lot of respect from our neck of the woods, and we got a lot of questions for him. And as you know, if you know Melvin Farmer or you ever seen him in an interview, you know he got the answers. Match made in heaven. So thanks for tuning in, y'all. Thanks for the super chats and the cash apps. You never hear me talk about the cash apps, but tonight is different. Thank you for the super chats and cash apps. Mac Kids Maniacs, ladies of KMV, I love y'all. Be sure to tell your loved ones you love them. Palm trees, what up, homie? O'Neal, thanks for checking in, man. Appreciate it. Y'all take it easy. Until next time, I'm out. Salute.